Last season, the Miami Heat were one of the more surprising teams in the NBA, as they did make the playoffs as a top 5 seed, when most believed they would make it as a 7 or 8th seed, and they especially surprised everyone when they made it all the way to the NBA Finals. And going into this season, most expected them to be one of the better teams in the East, but so far this season, they have started with an 8-14 record, and the third worst record in the Eastern Conference, and this has caused many people to become concerned with the Miami Heat, and I've claimed that their finals run was a fluke. In today's video, I'll be telling you 5 reasons why you shouldn't worry about the Miami Heat. But before we get into the video, I ask you to drop a like on this video, as it does help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA videos and to help me reach 1,000 subscribers, and comment on this video to start a conversation with me, because I respond to all of my comments. And play that intro. The first and main reason I am not worried about the Heat is because COVID has simply hit them very hard, as they have missed a bunch of key players due to COVID restrictions and injuries. For example, Tyler Hero has missed 7 games, and that's a huge loss, as he is their 3rd leading scorer and is a big part of a lot of the things that they do. Jimmy Butler, their best player, has only played 11 out of a potential 23 games due to him getting COVID. And he's their best player and is one of their best playmakers and one of their few shot creators. And you can't tell me that you don't think the Miami Heat are really missing Butler. Goran Dragic and Kendrick Nunn have both missed over 5 games, and they are 2 of their best bench players. So clearly, this team hasn't even been playing together with everyone. So it's not that fair to make an analysis on how good they are off of them missing their best player for more than half of the year. And all these injuries have caused them to play a lot of younger players who would have been riding the bench if they were healthy. Guys like Gabe Vincent, Max Struss, and KZ Apala have been playing quality minutes for them. And out of the 3, Max Struss has been the only one that's playing good, shooting 39% from 3. But Gabe Vincent and KZ Apala have been bad, shooting under 40% from the field. So to me, personally, you can't judge a team if they're not healthy. Straight up, man.
Don't worry about a thing.
The second reason you shouldn't be worried about the Miami Heat is simply because this is a very talented roster and a very deep team that has one of the best depths in the league and talent, as they have a top 12 player in the league in Jimmy Butler, whose all-around play as a scorer, passer, and defender makes him one of the best. Bam Adebayo is a top 25 player, as he's a top 5 defender in the league, and he's good enough defender to anchor a whole team's defense, and he is good enough on offense of a player to score 20 points a game. And to me, he's one of the more underrated passers as a big man. Tyler Hero is a very good scorer who can explode at any times, as he showed in his 37-point game versus the Boston Celtics in the playoffs. Goran Dragic is one of the best 6 men in the NBA, as he averages 14 points and 5 assists. They have one of the best shooters in the league in Duncan Robinson, who is a guy who defenses always have to guard at all times. And they have guys like Kelly Olynyk and Kendrick Nunn, who are double-digit scorers who can space the floor and go off for 20-point games every once in a while. And they have some lockdown defenders in Andre Iguodala and Avery Bradley. So this is a team that legitimately has 8 to 9 above average players and 2 top 25 players. So I simply can't see a team with this much good players and talent not being one of the better teams in the East. Like, come on, man.
Don't worry about a thing.
The third reason you shouldn't be worried about the Miami Heat is simply because they have had a pretty hard schedule, as they have had to face a lot of the best teams in the league, and that is where most of their losses have come from. They had to face the Bucks twice, and they lost one of those games. They had to face the Celtics, and they lost that game. They had to face the Mavericks, who had their rough start, but we all know they're better than they have been playing, and the Heat lost that game. They had to face the number 1 seed 76ers twice without Jimmy Butler, and they lost both of those games. They played the Raptors twice and lost one of those games. They had to verse the Nets twice and they lost both of those games without Jimmy Butler. They played Denver and the Clippers and lost both of those games. So out of their first 23 games, 11 of them have been against some of the best teams in the league. And you have to remember that they have had a lot of their players missing. I wouldn't use this as an excuse if they were healthy. But it's not easy to play the most elite teams in the league with inexperienced rookies starting for you. Like, this is ridiculous.
Don't worry about a thing.
The fourth reason why you shouldn't be worried about the Miami Heat is because a lot of their losses have been in close games, as in 7 of their 14 of losses have been in very close games, and in some of those games they were without Jimmy Butler and Goran Dragic, who are their closers. So even if 3 of those wins down the stretch went to the Heat, their record would be 12-11, which is a record that looks way better than their 9-14 one right now. And obviously those games are in the past and we can't change them, but it does show that the Heat can easily be above 500, and it shows that in most of their losses they have been completely competitive in the game and not been blown out, especially them missing Jimmy Butler in a lot of those games. I think they would have started winning more of those close games, and their record will steadily improve as the year goes on.
Don't worry about a thing.
Fifth reason you shouldn't be worried about the Miami Heat is simply because I believe the Heat are one of the teams that do better in the playoffs than they are in the regular season, as I think they're more built to upset top teams in the league in the playoffs than be a team that wins 55 or more games in the regular season. Because if you look at their roster, they're definitely a good team, but they have the personnel to be really good in the playoffs, as their coach in Eric Spoelstra is really good at making game plans and strategies that is always best in playoff situations. Miami is also one of the teams that don't rely on one player on offense, and any other night, someone else can lead the team in scoring. And in the postseason, that's a huge advantage since it makes it harder for teams to game plan for them in the playoffs. And Jimmy doesn't necessarily have to play great for them to win. And all these advantages help Miami in the regular season, but in the playoffs, they will stand out even more. So you shouldn't worry about Miami since they are a very good team, and I think in the playoffs, a lot of their strength will show even more than they are right now. But to conclude this video, I don't think we can make claims that the Miami Heat were a fluke just off 20 or so games when they have really struggled with injuries. So no, you shouldn't worry about the Heat, and to me, they are still a top 4 team in the East, and they definitely are title contenders. Anyways guys, that's it for the video. Let me know what you think about the Heat. Drop a like on this video to help my channel grow. Subscribe to my channel if you want weekly NBA videos and to help me reach my goal of 1,000 subscribers. And comment on this video to start a conversation because I just want all of my comments. And I'm out!